Hi there everyone, today we're doing a little review of the Ryobi One Chainsaw. I bought this a couple of months ago, basically at the skate park where I do a lot of work. There's an area out the back which is really overgrown with like brambles and brush and stuff like that, and we decided it was time to clear all that out. So I picked up this thing and thought we'd give it a try. I will say at this point, I am not sponsored by Ryobi. I'm not paid to endorse them or anything like that. I just really do like their tools quite a lot, but I thought I'd give this one a go and give it a really honest review and see what I thought of it. So yeah, here it is. So the first thing to make clear about this blog is that I am a complete beginner when it comes to chainsawing. I'm not a complete beginner. My brother and my dad used to use chainsaws all the time and stuff, and I would help them out, but I've never really owned a chainsaw and I've never really used one more than once or twice. So I'm not exactly an expert on them. However, on the other side of things, I am a total beginner almost, as it were. So from a beginner's perspective, I think this should be quite a useful review because I can say the things that I found really easy, the things that I found not so easy, and the things that I found the saw worked really well for in terms of what I was using it for. Regardless of whether or not I am a beginner or if you're a pro chainsaw person or anything like that, it's always really important to use as much safety gear as is practical for what you're doing. Again, this is it's a battery powered chainsaw. Whatever you may think about battery powered tools and stuff, this could definitely still kill you. So if you do get one of these and you do use them, do be as careful as you can. In the videos that you'll see with me using it, I was wearing big heavy duty trousers. I've got nice safety specs, some ear defenders, and a nice big handy pair of gloves. So yeah, if you do go out and use one of these things, do always be as careful as you possibly can with them. One of the great things about the Ryobi chainsaw is it's incredibly low maintenance. All that it needs for it to work is batteries and this stuff, which is bar oil. You put the bar oil in through a little reservoir here and it just keeps the thing nice and lubricated up. Apart from that, it is incredibly easy to use. That's all I can say. Not comparing it to any other chainsaws, I'm comparing it to all other things really. It's so easy and simple to use. Almost everything on it that you would need to take apart, you can do so without using any tools. Some of the really great features that are on it are this thing here. So we've got this little winder wheel which is used for tensioning the chain, which is underneath this chain guard thing here, and also you can unscrew that and take the whole side bit of it off so that you can actually get in there and clean stuff out of it, which is really handy. Apart from that, the whole thing is basically sealed off really well, so there's no real way that dust or anything else can get into it, and basically it's a pretty solid sealed unit. I think a lot of people look at like a battery powered chainsaw and they go, oh, it's going to be really tacky and really cheap. This thing has done so well. I've had it for over 2 months now and I've used it a lot and it really hasn't skipped a beat. So things that I liked about the chainsaw, which was a lot to be honest, almost everything I liked about it. First things first, it's really quite light. It doesn't weigh a lot in terms of, well, compared to other chainsaws that I've picked up before, it's about what you'd expect, but it's definitely not a super heavy thing. It's got a real nice design on the handle so you can hold it in nice different positions and stuff, which works really well. It's really good for getting into small spaces, particularly if you're working when there's lots. Where I was, there was lots of things around me in times. It's not got a great big long bar, so it's hard to get in somewhere. So yeah, that side of it, really useful. The next thing that I really like about this chainsaw, and specifically this is a thing with electric saws, is it's very quiet. Now, I know when I'm using it in all the videos that you can see, I'm wearing these ear defenders. That is because it does produce noise and it produces quite a high pitched noise, but it's nothing compared to what an actual chainsaw sounds like. If you've been around real powerful petrol powered or gas powered chainsaws, they have got a very loud whine to them. This thing, I can start this thing up in here in my flat and my neighbours below won't be able to hear it. I mean, I can demonstrate for you now. So this is how loud it is. Which is definitely a long way from silent, but it's also a lot quieter than a normal petrol powered chainsaw. So the reason I wear the ear defenders is because I can quite happily tolerate that for a couple of minutes. All day, it's going to start to hurt my ears a little bit and give me a bit of tinnitus. So yeah, definitely keep on the ear defenders. The next thing that I liked about this chainsaw a lot was just how effective it is. It's really, really good. Funny story, when I first put it together and first tried it on something, I thought that it didn't work at all. And that turned out to be because I had put the chain on backwards, so it was actually gnashing on things on wood with the back of its teeth. Always make sure you put the chain on the right way. Another really good thing about this chainsaw is how easy it is to start it and to stop it. Most chainsaws that people will have seen or used in the past will have that very recognisable pull cord that you have to pull on in order to get the chainsaw motor started. A lot of times you'll see people pulling it 5, 6, 7, 10 times before the chainsaw actually starts up. With this thing, it's literally pull one switch and push one button and it works straight away every time. It's so simple and so easy. And the great thing about that as well is that it means that if I want to cut through something and then stop and put the saw down and take something away and then pick it up again, I don't have to stop the engine because there isn't one. It's all just done through electricity, so it works really nicely. So really simply, you can see again, I'll just activate the kill switch there. All I have to do is pull that and pull that, and it works. So the other really good side about the way that you start the chainsaw there is, again, obviously it stops as soon as you take your hand off of it. So things that I found this chainsaw to be really useful for. Well, for what I was doing initially, which was clearing out brush and scrub and overgrown trees and stuff like that, this was the perfect tool for the job. It was so versatile and so easy, going through trees from anything from that wide to almost this wide. It would go through it really, really nicely and easily. And again, that ease and ability of just being able to pick it up and put it down, start it whenever I wanted it to, was amazing. It was really good. Chainsaw came in really handy as well at the bike park, which I run, when I wanted to create some new little obstacles at the bike park. So I was chainsawing through some logs and cutting them into different shapes so that we could use them at the park and stuff. It was just a really handy thing to have around. Especially if you're somewhere where you've got a power source nearby so you can keep swapping batteries in and out. So yeah, it's been such an effective tool. I mean, if you look at this clip here, there's a tree that's about 20 foot tall, decent size, and within about 10 minutes I managed to cut the whole tree down, cut it all to bits and put it onto the bonfire, and done, we're out of the way. Which is about the same amount of time I would imagine you'd go through it with a petrol-powered chainsaw as well. There was actually a really big tree that I found which had been blown down by the wind. It had a trunk about that big probably, and it had mostly been blown down by the wind. And it took me about 10 minutes to get through the rest of it. Watch this clip as well and see if you can see the moment when my heart stopped a little bit. Fun fact about cutting through trees, sometimes they'll make very loud popping sounds which will make you jump quite a bit. So pro tip, whenever you're chainsawing, make sure there's enough room around you to have somewhere to jump to. So just talking about the battery life, I found actually this chainsaw worked really, really well with the batteries that I've got for it. I have got 3 of these 5 amp hour lithium ion batteries which work really, really well. And when just going through like small stuff, the saw lasted on one of those batteries on full charge for about an hour and a half. Going through bigger stuff, it did wear out a fair bit quicker, and that is to be expected. But generally, considering the power that it's got from the size of the battery that we're using, it's really, really impressive. Which leads on to what I think probably my only sort of criticism of this chainsaw is it's a really great saw if you're using it somewhere where you've got a power source nearby. And there's nothing really that Ryobi or anyone else can do to change that until like portable solar chargers become the norm. And become good enough that they could charge a lithium ion battery that quickly. Where I was using it, obviously we had the skate park right next to it, which has got mains power, and I can just keep plugging in batteries there. So yeah, if you want to go out and use it, I'd say have at least 2, if not 3 batteries. I've got 3 of these 5 amp hour ones. Again, the downside of this would be if you are out in the woods a long way from anywhere, which is typically where you'd want to be using a chainsaw, and you've taken 3 fully charged batteries with you, well, so long as you can get your job done in the time of those batteries, then that's fine. A petrol powered chainsaw with a jerry can of petrol will probably almost certainly last you longer. But again, I haven't used one of those chainsaws yet, so maybe that will be the next blog I do, is comparing the two. But yeah, I basically really enjoyed using this chainsaw, and I still really enjoy using it now. Again, amazing thing about the Ryobi toolkits is you can just take off one of those batteries there, plug it straight into another tool like that, and you've got immediate power straight there, and it will go into almost 100 different tools, I think, and just work straight away, which is really nice and convenient. Again, for someone like me who's a bit of an amateur at this stuff, it's really nice to have something that's just simple and works. So yeah. So last little thing, what would I recommend this chainsaw for? I will admit, if you are a lumberjack and you're going out and cutting down great big logs and stuff, you're going to want something with a little bit more bite and a little bit more power to it. That said, for almost everything else in between, I can definitely see if you were a tree surgeon and wanted something up a tree that's light and a bit more nimble and stuff, one of these things would work really well. If you're like me, you're just using it to clear some brush and stuff, again, I think that's a really ideal thing. And the next thing I'm going to go and do is see how well I can do some chainsaw carving with it and see how accurate it is for that. So I hope you guys have really enjoyed this video. Hopefully I'll be doing some more reviews of Ryobi's products in the future, and some other products perhaps, whatever I seem to come across. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button below, as that will encourage me to make some more videos. And other than that, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks very much.